Hello, and we are live. We are going to be doing character creation for you today on Ulysses Spila Twitch. My name is Robert Aducci, and I'm the social media manager for the English Ulysses Spila. So, first things first, I've just kind of delved into the Dark Eye. I am definitely a noob when it comes to the Dark Eye and its lore. So if you if you see me making any mistakes, please feel free to correct me. So I'm going to need your help as we walk through this. I've never made a character. I've run a game a couple of times, and so I have have a little bit of experience, but never stepped into the character generation side. So I've got two things. First thing is the PDF, and I have a hard copy too. But we're gonna probably mostly use the PDF. That way you can see what I'm looking at too. So here's the core rules PDF, and then I also have the Optolith character generator. So you can look here. Oh, what happened? It's not showing it. Oh, there it goes. Had to be up, I guess. So here this is. And you can get this. You can get this by going to Optolith character generator, which is in if you go to drivethrurpg.com, it's free. And so you can make a character for the Dark Eye for free. And hello, Nara. Good morning. You say I have the Optolith one too. Unfortunately, it's missing a few cultural backgrounds. Oh no. If you look down here, it says, I haven't interacted with the creator of this at all, but it says there is a way to report things that are missing, and there's a Discord server so you can chat and maybe let them know what you found. So go check that out. Let me get back to... sorry, I'm trying to get rid of the Chrome. There we go. Okay. And so this has all of the, kind of all of the base information. It doesn't have any of the kind of what people call fluff, like the details of the world. Just has literally the rules information. And you can get this for free. And right now, the Dark Eye you can get for free as well on DriveThruRPG. It is pay what you want. So if you can afford to pay, great. If you cannot, that's all right too. We understand, people are kind of struggling right now, and if you can't afford it, please just take it and play and have fun with your friends or yourself. If you haven't been able to get online and play online, you can play by yourself. If you go look at ulysses-us.com, you can find a web article called Stay at Home and Play for the Dark Eye, and it includes the links to the core book for pay what you want, as well as the Vampire of Havana solo adventure and the Conspiracy of Mages solo adventure, both of which I've played on stream. If you go look at our YouTube channel, you can see those. I played through them and we had a good time. I didn't make it through either of them, but we had a good time. So please go check those out. There's also links on how to play the Fantasy Grounds version, which is that right now it's a free fan-made extension. So if you want to start playing with your friends online, you can use the Fantasy Grounds version if you have one of those license or subscriptions. The extension itself is free, but the software is not. And I did a couple of videos on how to use that too. So go check all of that stuff out, and we hope you get playing the Dark Eye. Hello, Phantom of Truth. Torte said, my group was finally able to create all their characters. That's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and create a character now. So let me just get to the main section here, and we're going to go to character creation. So obviously this all walks you through, but since the dark eye uses points, it can get a little bit, it can get a little bit cumbersome if you're trying to like write these down with a pencil or something like that. So this Optolith character generator is real nice if you've got Excel or something like that, or just Google Sheet. You can also use that. But I mean, the Optolith tool is free, so there's almost no reason to use it unless you just like doing math, in which case, cool. Someone says the Roll20 TSA character sheet is pretty good to use. Cool. Yeah, so check that out too. I'm not sure if that has automation. Does that have, I guess I could just ask you, does that have automation for character generation, or is it just kind of just the sheet that shows you your modifiers and stuff like that? Because I know the Optolith sheet here, let's switch, or the Optolith app lets you, kind of walks you through character generation, which is cool. It looks like they have a wiki here. Choose a category. Yeah, so this is cool. It just kind of shows you everything. And again, it's just the rules information, none of the fluff. A little FAQ, some about who made this. Lucas, thank you very much for creating this. So let's get back over to the actually how to do this. So creating a hero in 15 steps, which sounds like a lot, but it's all kind of broken down. Now we're going to decide which kind of hero to play. And, I don't know. I don't know yet. So I think I'm just going to kind of walk through it, and we'll sort of create a hero organically, I guess. I don't have any kind of preconceived notions other than I'm going to keep things kind of as simple as possible, if possible. So I meant to do this before I started, but there we go. So it kind of talks about background story. And again, I don't have any of that. I'm not kind of creating this for a game. I'm sort of just creating this character just to do it, just for the exercise of creating the character. So I'm not really worried about, role-playing elements of it at all. I'm just sort of looking for what's interesting at the time. So step 2 is choose an experience level. So there's a chart here on the second page, where you kind of have your maximum values, and this will show you how many adventure points you have, and then your different maximum values for different attributes, and just different values. You got attribute totals, combat techniques, skill values, all of these different values. But the thing to recognize quick first is that characters start experienced generally. So when you make a player character, they're going to start it as experienced, and it kind of tells you that up here. Typical heroes start with experienced. So that is important. If you're playing a game, you're probably going to start as there. The other things are for, if you just want a different level. If you want to play those kind of characters that don't have anything, they're kind of maybe pulling themselves up from their bootstraps, you could start with some inexperienced or ordinary characters. It's up to you and your GM. All right, so we're going to choose our experience level. And I think if we go over to the Optolith app, we can do that over here as well. So we're going to go to new hero. We got to create our hero. So the name of the hero, since this is a Twitch stream, we're just going to call this character the Twitcher. All right, and just male, doesn't really matter. Okay, experience level, this is where we were just talking about. So let's go ahead and pick experience. That's sort of all right, what we're starting with. And then it's got all of these books that you can choose from. I think we're just going to keep with the core book and the almanac, which is kind of the core, just to keep things simple again. Oh yeah, Blue Dragon had to answer about my Roll20 thing. It's just a sheet, so it doesn't give you a walkthrough. So if you're new to the Dark Eye and you're kind of learning how to do things, I would definitely suggest using this Optolith. All right, so we're going to choose our race, culture, and profession. Phantom True says they'll toss a coin to that name. Yes, one of everyone's favorite other dark fantasy. So let's go back to the character sheet, and so we did our PDF. We did our experience level. That program, again, Playing Your Crossroads, hello, is Optolith. It's the character generator. It's free on DriveThruRPG. I meant to put that in the chat here. Let me grab it real quick. There we go. So we've chosen our experience level. We've got our points, 1,100 points. And these are all the things that we're going to be spending our AP on. Attribute scores, advantages, special abilities, including traditions for magic and blessed ones, skills. Are you Vendalist? No, I am not Vendalist. I'm Radu, if you're looking at on the Discord. Vendalist, I think that might be Tayo. I'm not sure who that is. Or is Tayo? I don't know. I forget. So we got that. Now our race. Our race is our next point. I think we're gonna stick. Like I said, I kind of wanted to do things as simple as possible. So I think we're gonna stick with the human. So let's go here. We're gonna choose human. One of the cool things is it kind of shows, your base stuff over here, and then there's different versions over here. But I think we can click this. Yeah, and so this is going to show all of the different humans. So we can check individually. Oh no, I guess that doesn't do it. Let's see if we select here. Yeah, so this shows us everything. And I don't really have I don't have a preference at the moment. Does anybody want to give a suggestion on what kind of culture we take? So Blue Dragon says, recommend to build with Optolith and then transfer to Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds depending on personal preference. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Although I have to say, I've got some information in Fantasy Grounds now. One of the community members sent me the basically the player's information, and so it looks like you will be able to drag and drop stuff over right now. And when we have the full rule set out, obviously you'll be able to do that. I'm not sure if I don't think really Fantasy Grounds has a kind of character generator per se, so I think this might still be the best thing to do, because it will track all your points. See on the top right here, it says your AP. So, I mean, yeah, this is amazing. This even shows you, how much, I can't mouse over it, but you can see how much AP we've spent, how many we've spent on advantages, disadvantages, and all of those other things that we had just mentioned that we need to spend AP on. So this is this program looks like it's going to be pretty robust. He's working on the Dark Eye for Ulysses. Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't necessarily have contact with all of the creators and freelancers and all those people. Sometimes I do. It just depends. So someone says Bornlander. Someone says Middenrealmer for being generic. Yeah, that's probably what we'll want to do. Someone says, I like how the tool shows the English available modules and character options while the German version considers all available modules. Yeah, that's real nice. At some point, hopefully, we'll get caught up. We'll see. That's our goal, is to get caught up, of course, but sometimes things take a little bit longer than we want. So let's go. Yeah, somebody said Middenrealmer, so let's do that. Yep, here we go, Middenrealmer. So we get some languages. We get what script we're writing. Again, this is called Optolith, which is a free download on the DM's Guild, or sorry, on the DriveThruRPG. So Middenrealmer it is. Gives our common professions, common advantages, common disadvantages. So these are things that we can take later, our advantages and disadvantages. And then there's a cultural package that we can buy, which I think is going to get into here. So here's our professions. Okay, so this is showing all the professions, and then here are the different professions by group. This is their AP cost, and so I guess let's look back at our characters. So we've chosen our culture, Midden Realmer. We've chosen a race and our culture. All right. This stuff, you know, the convenience of a nice app is that all of these things are just sort of put in there for us. We don't really have to do anything. Tort says, as a German-born living in the U.S., I have all the German books in paperback and the English ones as hardcover. That's nice, yeah. That's a lot of stuff. All right, so here are the cultural packages. So this is kind of where we were. We picked Midden Realmer, right? I don't even see that on here. Oh, Midden Realmer right there. So again, this is the kind of stuff it gave us, and it cost us 12 AP to pick that. All right, so now, so this is the next step is allocating attributes. But when we go to this, it's kind of looking for us to pick our profession. So let's just kind of go with this for now, and we will do so. So common professions. Do we just pick one? I don't know. So that's the thing. It doesn't exactly, I guess it doesn't really tell us what to do. It's just sort of guiding us. So I'm going to assume we're going to pick one. If it wants us to pick more, we can. Let's go back to the rules set real quick. We were still on there. So this is already talking about attributes. And then there it starts talking about professions. So let's just go back to Optolith. And let's choose a profession. So, professions in the Dark Eye, like this is basically like your class. So, we only pick one. So, we're gonna go with I don't know. What do you guys think we should do? We got Bard, we got Black Mage, Blessed Ones, all the different Blessed Ones from different gods, different witches. Grey Mage, Courtier, Gladiators, Guards, Healers, Knights. So many rogues, sailors, spies, a Toad Witch, your classic warrior. So there are a lot of professions that we can choose from. We kind of wanted to keep it pretty simple. What do you think we should do? Yeah, I don't think let's not pick something with magic at the moment. Just because it's one more step that that we'll have to walk through. So Tort also says, I create all my NPCs on Optolith. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for some of the minor NPCs, and even for important ones, I'm done in 20 to 30 minutes. Nice. That's great. Yeah. Again, all these, having these tools is fantastic. Kind of doing these sorts of things before we had these tools. In the 80s when we were creating characters, some of these characters for I'm sure for this game and for others that were complicated, took sometimes hours and hours. Let's do something pretty simple. I would say let's pick a mercenary, and we're just gonna see where that's gonna take us. So mercenary is gonna give us let's see. Oh, so we can take a variant of the mercenary that will give us a heavily armored, lightly armored, or a skirmisher. Does it tell us what skirmisher does? No, not right there. Maybe down here it does. Variants, skirmisher. Okay, and it gives you crossbows instead of crossbows 12 instead of 10, and thrown weapons 12 instead of 6. Lightly armored gives you feint, and heavily armored gives you takedown. Yeah, I like skirmisher. Let's go with that. So this is going to give us, it's going to tell us that our AP value is 202, but it's actually 218 because we took the skirmisher variant. There's some prerequisites, and so the reason they're probably having us walk through this instead of our attributes next is because there are prerequisites. So sometimes it's nice to just make sure that we can meet these before we do our attributes, then decide what you're going to be, and then you're like, oh, I don't even meet that. So then you have to go back and change it. So that's probably why they kind of did it this way. Then we get our special abilities, languages and literacy, totaling 6 AP skill specializations. Gonna list those. I wonder what this translates to. Techniques? I don't know. Funny that one's not translated. So one of the following combat techniques. Yep, combat techniques. So we get one of the following of those. Skills. I assume it's going to walk us through all of this. We'll see. These are all different skills. Suggested advantages, disadvantages. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Let's click next. So, buy cultural package. Yeah, we want to buy our cultural package, right? Let's see, does that come off there? It does not. Or is that an additional cultural package? Questions. All right. Script, if we want to know how to write, I think that's what that is for. Professions, skill specializations, warfare. Do you just get to pick one of these? It automatically adds the skill points when you buy the package. Yeah, okay. It says, I do play since the first edition, so I've been through all of those. 4th and 5th, 4.5, 4.5 edition were really cumbersome with the cumulative cost of everything. 5e makes it really easy again without losing any depth. That's awesome. So siege tactics. Yeah, so you can only pick one of these. Skill specializations. Let's do open battle. What's partisan tactics? I don't know. We'd have to look that one up. Not knowing what these do specifically, I guess I could just go look in the profession. Let's go look. So we're going to come back over here. And we're going to stay with that. I've got another version of the core rulebook here that I'm going to use to look up other things. So professions. Mundane, I assume. And mercenary. So, yep, we took the skirmisher. So it didn't really tell us what. It's not right here. It must be somewhere else. It's just a skill specialization for your warfare. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. So open battle, I guess, is our specialization. Cool. Thank you very much. All right, and let's get back to the app. Okay, we got that. Now we got our languages totaling 6 what are they called? Adventure points. We got 6 left. So these are different languages. There's a whole lot of them, which is cool. Like, I think it's kind of more realistic, if you want to say that. I guess it feels more. It feels like it gives it more depth to have a lot of language, a lot of different languages, and to have them kind of come into play in a game. Other than having everyone speak one language. Don't forget to pick your attribute as human first. Drop down on this page. Oh, attribute adjustment. Yeah. Good point. I mean, we're a skirmisher. I guess let's just pick agility. Courage, huh? We need courage. Sure. Let's go for it. All right. So our languages. I don't know. I don't have any. It looks like I have these ones. No. These ones just cost extra. Do they normally just cost 1? Let's see. So they cost 2. It looks like. When I click it, it tells me it costs 2. And then I can have it at 1, 2, or 3. So if I have it at 2, it takes 4 points, and if I have it at 3, it takes all 6. Cool. So as a midden realmer, what are some languages should we take? Yeah, 2 per level. There's no midden realm language, obviously. What should we take? And again, we're not really going to play this character, so I'm not too worried about having it be accurate or needed A lot of times people pick languages like, oh, this is going to come up in the game, so I'm going to make sure to have that one. You already have Gorethi, which is the mid-realm language. Yeah, thanks. Yep, it says right there, Gorethi, already taken. And I assume we're already supposed to be like an expert at it. All right, I'm just going to pick a couple. Tulamidia, Anagram. We're just going to do that just to kind of move on here a little bit. So now we get to pick one of the following combat techniques. Impact weapons, swords. So impact weapons, oh no, I was hoping it would tell us what that is. Impact weapons, swords, polearms, two-handed impact weapons, and two-handed swords. So I assume that's going to be impactor like hammers and whatnot. Let's see. Close combat. Let's see if it talks about it here in close combat. I really like, it's very detailed, but the combat is interesting, and I think playing on Fantasy Grounds had me, had me kind of really longing for a lot of the automation that I've seen in Fantasy Grounds for other rule sets for other games, and I think things like this, which is like comparison of close weapons. Of close weapons versus reaches. It's something that a lot of times we don't think about. I feel like when I've played with other games that had this, I didn't think about it because it was a lot of times like a lookup thing. This is pretty simple. You're just -2 to attack if you're basically have a shorter weapon than somebody else. And so with Fantasy Grounds, there's a modifier button. You could just click that to add it, which is interesting. So I think that'll be fun. And Tort says, yes, hammers, axes, and maces. So let's kind of get back over here. And so do we want kind of hammers, maces, etc., swords, polearms, two-handed? I mean, if we're making a sort of generic character, kind of swords, Tort says, absolutely, there was a reason why the polearm was the king of the battlefield before guns were invented. Yeah. Let's just do swords for now. And complete. All right. This looks like now we get to choose our attributes. And it gives us the nice colors, which is cool. If you're playing and you have different colors for all of your attributes, you can, when you're doing your skill checks or your spells or your chants, you can grab those and roll them on a specific color, which is pretty cool. We have 79 out of 100 points, and it looks like we do some more. Remember, 14 is our max. I think it's what it's showing us, but this is saying 15 because I think we added one. The ones that are preset to 13 are due to special abilities the Mercenary comes with. Cool. And does this show our maximum? Is that what those maximums were? The let's go look real quick. Go back to professions, mundane professions, and mercenary. So here, or it says see, these were prereqs. Okay, int 13, which is that what we have? Yeah, so it basically spent our points for us already. Yeah, it said max 14. So I guess that's a question that I have that you can probably answer for me. If we're looking at Optolith here, it says, what is that number here? What is this? 15. Except the one we picked +1, right? Okay, so the int, con, and strength, these are our prerequisites from the mercenary profession, as we can see here. So they're already included in there. So it kind of pre-bought it, which is nice. That just makes it easy. And someone says, Tort says, you can have 14 in each, just the ones that you were raised to 13. You can't lower them. Yeah, because they were prerequisites, exactly. All right. So what do we want to do? Oh, wait. How did that get? Wasn't that 14? No, I just raised it, right? All right. So when I spend a point, so this is something that I was a little bit confused about. If we're looking at step 5 of allocating attributes, Let's switch back over here. And we come back to this section. Creating a hero, background, where we go. Oh, let me find it. See, this is why I wanted two different parts, two different PDFs to look at. All right, so here is allocating attributes. So maybe you can tell me what's the, like, why are there like a whole bunch of different, I know this sort of confused me, although I haven't read it yet, so I don't, you know, it looks like it's kind of straightforward with Optolith. And then here's the cost of attributes. Or is this just like a spread? If you wanted to like do a spread, is that what that's for? Looks like there's 540 AP, 555. So there's kind of slightly different costs. Example distributions of 100 points, one attribute at 15. Yeah, it saves. Oh, gosh. So you could just pick. Okay, gotcha. So if you didn't want to do all of these, you could just do this. But since we have Optolith and it's going to do all the math for us, we don't need to do that. Gotcha. So as a mercenary, I think, you know, we'll probably need a little bit of courage. You know, I don't like to be too deficient in anything. Let's kind of make us at least a little more, because even if we go back and look at our stats, out of these kind of sample stats, some of these are like, you know, there's like some 14s across the board, and I guess it'd be this going down, right? So 14 to 12 is a range, 15 to 10, and 15 to 10. So those are sort of your ranges. Here you've got more 15s, but like you've also got an 8 and a 9. So something to think about, you know, if you kind of want to, if you want to have more high stats, I'd like to have, let's just kind of leave it as average, I guess. What I'm hearing is DSC was designed by an engineer. Definitely could be. Definitely could be. All right. So we still have quite a few points. Let's up our intuition a bit, our con, our strength. I mean, we probably need some more dexterity and agility, I would imagine, too. Give us a few points there. What do you think we need more now? We know we've kind of added things up to, but, you know, we still have like 4 more points. There we go. Now we have 2 more points. I still feel like, I don't, do we just want straight 14s in our main stats? Do we want one of our required prerequisites, which was intuition, con, and strength? Do we want those higher? Courage 14. So this is the second time that you've suggested we take courage and that we raise it up. So it influences your attack score. Good point. Yeah, that is a good point. So let's drop our con and strength by 1 to give us that courage of 14. All right, that's going to give us, and I like how it's showing, like, we can't drop this anymore because it's at the minimum, and we can't raise them because we don't have any more points. So it's telling us that the only thing that we can do is drop these, which is pretty cool. I like that idea. Int 13, strength 14 is better. Why is that? Int 13, strength 14. This is just it's more for our attack, or is it something else? All right, so, you know, we've got our attribute adjustment, which we can also, you know, it's just letting us know here that we can change it if we want still. So I like that. It's your parry. Gotcha. All right. Permanent life points. Life points are 31, which is tells us that our race base stat plus con twice equals 31. That's nice. In arcane energy, karma, spirit. So all of this stuff, these are, derived stats, and this just gives us all of that information. Now, permanent life points. Why does it give us the, say permanent life points spent? I'm not sure what that is. Let's see if it's, that's something in here. Let's go back and look. Permanent life points. So here's back, it's kind of telling us our profession. Now we get attributes, or sorry, looks like advantages and disadvantages are going to be next. But let's go back here. I want to look up that permanent life points. Oh, you can buy up to your con in additional life points. Interesting. Looks like it's not finding it easily. Interesting. So you can buy up to your con in additional life points. I think we'll kind of keep it simple for now. And we'll just leave that. All right, so I guess now we go on to advantages and disadvantages. Common advantages, page 350 in the core rules. Cool, let's go look at that. These are the improvement costs. Is that over here? Nope, that's something different. Experience. I'm not seeing that. Oh, it says, yeah, that's 350. These are just like the tables in the back of the rule book. So I don't see that. That's all right. All right, let's get back over here to the app. And we're on to advantages and disadvantages. So there are common advantages. Ooh, I like that. Strongly recommended. Uncommon and common. Zero AP on advantages, 0 spent on disadvantages. Seems like you didn't add anything to this list. So we can just add all the common advantages, and that gives us like, oh, these are just a bunch of them that it lists out. So did we buy these? Is that what it's saying? I like how it's showing us things that are common and things that are strongly recommended, which nothing in here is. We still have 328 AP. If we do the mouse over this, it's not showing us what we spent like it did before. So here are, I assume when we pick here, nope, let's see, what does this do? Is that gonna add it? I think I added it. Show activated, yeah. Oh. How do I deselect something? I think this is what I wanted. That's what I wanted before it shows me what it was. So how do I remove things that I bought if I don't really want it? I mean, ambidextrous is probably a good one to have. Does that undo it? Nope. You have to X out. Okay, gotcha. And then you can delete it. I see. All right, so I had X'd out of there. Now I can delete it if I don't really want it. But here's with this advantage: suffer no penalties to skill checks for using their offhands in combat. They do not suffer penalties for wielding weapons in their offhands. And so we kind of took skirmisher. I think ambidextrous is actually pretty good for that. But let's go back and look at common advantages. Is there a way, do you know, Tort, to get, like, to see, like, these strongly recommended ones? How can I find those? How can I pull them up? If I take common advantages off, how can I do that? It says you have to X out. Oh no, then you can delete it. Yeah. They are rare. So The strongly recommended ones are rare. So how do I find them though? I'm not seeing that. Is that gonna let me just search for the strongly? Nope. They only come with certain races like elves and dwarves. Oh, okay, gotcha. So there's not necessarily a strongly recommended advantage for my character. And so I think some of these were, if we go back and look at our race, our culture, we can probably go to races or cultures, human cultures, min-realmer. So there's a bunch of common professions, and then here's disadvantages and advantages. So these are things that that if you want to play to type, you could pick these things. So min-realmers are often resistant to cold or resistant to heat, which is funny. So they have both. So they're just hardy. They're hardy folk. Uncommon advantages, common skills, which we haven't gotten to there yet. So if we wanted to choose these, we could play to type. Sure, let's do that. Resistant to cold, resistant to heat. Let's see. Uncommon means they're rarely seen in this culture, right? So yeah, they're here as... Oh, it's uncommon. Did I misread that? Oh, they were uncommon. Missed that. Yep, I totally missed that. So let's look at common advantages as luck. Wow. All right. So I totally missed that. Yeah. So and that's exactly what's listed here. So the things that were, we didn't have to go back to our PDF to look at these, because that is exactly what was already in there. Cool. So let's just go ahead and pick some of these common things. Improve life points, increase life points. What is the difference between that? So improve life, improve regeneration. Oh, improve regeneration. During regeneration, the hero receives additional life point for each level of the advantage. Prerequisites, disadvantage, weak regeneration, add value 10. And then increase life points is raise your life points stat by 1 point per level of the advantage. So this helps you regain it, and this is just what you have. So Navis from the north have resistance to cold as common advantage, while people from the south is often resistant to heat. Yeah, makes sense. Because they're from a modern climate. Yeah, that all makes sense. All right, so we've got luck. Let's go ahead and take some luck. And we can have 1, 2, or 3. So let's see what the buy costs are. So you have a maximum number of fate points. Your maximum number of fate points, as determined by experience level, increases by 1 per level with this advantage. So basically it would give us a bunch of fate points. So sure, let's just buy that up. You have reached the AP. Oh, because I bought the ambidextrous, which, did I have it up here? It doesn't tell me what it was. It looks like it was 15 points. So we only have 80 points, so we can't afford that. So we can go 60, 75, so we can afford that. Now we have 5 more points. So let's go find, is there something that's really inexpensive? A beautiful voice. And do we have to spend all of these points? Or can we just like spend my 75 and that's it? Let's go back and look to see here where we get back over to advantages. No, you don't have to. Okay, so yeah, let's just keep what we've got then. All right, and then do we want to buy some disadvantages? I guess we're done with that. Disadvantages here. Let's see what our common disadvantages are. And so common, again, are going to be blue, strongly recommended, which I'm not seeing any. Nope. Are there. So let's see. A negative trait is common and a personality flaw is common. That's kind of funny. Let's see what the The book says for common disadvantages: negative trait superstition, personality flaw, prejudices mostly against the heathens, elves, orcs, goblins, and non-min-realmers. So let's see, did it say anything about that? So this doesn't tell us what it would be, but I like, and superstition is not on here. Let's see, maybe that's something else. Or sorry, that's going to be negative trait. Superstition. I like it. All right, we'll take that. And what was the personality flaw? Personality flaw, prejudice, mostly against heathens, elves, orcs, goblins, and non-min-realmers. So let's go with the personality flaw. Against heathens. All right, we'll take that -5. So you can click there to get a custom AP cost, which is nice. I always like it when little apps give you options to change things. So we'll take that one. And it says we can have up to 80 points. And so these are all the other miscellaneous disadvantages we could take. We can be afraid of different things. We can have a bad habit. Blind, colorblind, deaf, incompetent. Nice. Maimed. Misfortune. Oh, what does that one do? You have less fate. It says, I love how the translator of the core rules in English went to the process of picking more Anglo-Saxon bad habits. What are the other ones, I guess? What are the ones that are included in the German that you don't find in this one, in the English version? Nice, this is cool. So the rule is that if the GM must decide something randomly, like which hero does the arrow hit, who is near the trap when it activated, the chances of something bad happening are twice as high for an adventure with this disadvantage than for others. That's awesome. So like if you're gonna roll randomly, you would just like, they would be, instead of them being one number, they would be two numbers. I like that. Night blind, not free, so you're a slave or whatever. Interesting. Poor sleepwalker. Uh-oh. A stigma. Nice. You have green hair. Dang green-haired people. But pink hair, obviously, apparently fine. Green hair, not so much. Is that something in the game? Let's see what this says. Inappropriate to the situation. GM can penalize social skills. That's funny that is like one of the options is green hair. That must be a thing, right? In the game, there must be a reason that green hair is there. Susceptible to cold. Ooh, susceptible to spells. That sounds like a bad day. So your spirit and toughness are reduced by 1 per level when resisting magic. Ooh, you have a true name. I like that. Some of them just wouldn't make sense to someone in America. Oh, I gotta know now. Come on. Negative traits. I mean, how... just because... Right? We're talking about the negative traits. Isn't that what you're talking about? Oh, the bad habits. Bad habits. So yeah, some things that would be considered bad habits in Germany that necessarily wouldn't be considered bad habits here. Yeah. Like what? I gotta know. Tell me something. Is this third person? Did that really say that? Third person, like you talk to yourself about yourself in the third person? Asking how much you earn. I think that's more like a modern habit. Or you're saying that Americans do ask how much you earn? I don't think we do, if that's what you're saying. Germans hate that. Yeah, I feel like Americans don't really like that either. All right, let's see. Ugly. The hero suffers the penalty of 1 per level of this advantage for checks. So this is an interesting thing here. So I've never really seen this, but so buying this at 10 points effectively penalty of 1 per level of disadvantage when for using commerce haggling. So you're for using your skill for using these skills. So it kind of gives you a minus to skills. So it's interesting because I mean we have attributes, right? And our attributes, some of our attributes are like right, charisma. Yeah, we have charisma as an attribute. So the fact that you could have a low charisma plus be ugly, or you could have a high charisma and be ugly. It gives you an interesting dichotomy. In a lot of RPGs, you can't really have that, or you just have to sort of explain it away. Like in other games, you could just be like have a high charisma, and you would just have to say I'm ugly, but I'm good at talking or whatever. And this sort of not only does it make you not not good looking or whatever, but you also get negatives in specific skills. So I like that. It gives you a little more variance. Tort says, in America, it's acceptable to brag with your achievements and status. In German, that's very much looked down upon. It's funny, that you say that. I mean, I guess it depends who you ask, right? In a lot of culture, it is, but in others, it's not. Even within America, because we have so many cultures here. Because I would say where I come from, it's not. I'm kind of come from the West, and it's not. You're not. People generally don't brag, but people near me in sort of, even though we're sort of part of the same culture, they might. All right, so we bought our disadvantages. Let's just keep going from here. So let's X out of here after we've bought what we want. West Coast is almost Europe, though. All right. We bought this. That's a funny comment. Okay, so let's go to our abilities. Is that what's next? Yeah, so these are basically our skills. What is that? What is this shortened to? I can't. I guess I could. Yeah, it does say abilities. Let me bring that back down so you guys can see the whole screen. So abilities, which are kind of our skills, it looks like. I don't know what I'm doing here. Actually, let's go back to our book. And we choose, so we already chose our advantages and disadvantages. Yep, there's a whole bunch here. Whole list of advantages. All right, there we go. Improve ability. So in this step, you activate and improve your hero's skill, spells, and liturgical chants by buying new ability levels with adventure points. Remember, however, that neither skill, spell, nor liturgical chant values may exceed the limits imposed by your hero's experience level, EL. So you can improve skills. You have to pay for each level when you move through them, which makes sense. You can't just skip over things. If you wish to improve a specific spell or liturgical chant that you do not possess, you have to first activate it, which makes sense. You improve combat techniques in the same way as skills. All right. So let's go back to the app. And here is a bunch of skills. So we can either list them alphabetically or by group or by improvement costs. And we can show common skills. Common, uncommon. Oh, it just kind of highlights it. I like that. So red, not very many people know how to fly things. All right. So let's see. So it says they're by group right now. So group physical. Okay, here's the groups. Physical, social, nature, knowledge, craft. All right, and then let's go back and look. See if it said anything about skills in our profession. So this is kind of what we get. We get some automatic skills. Perception should be common, Vendalist says. Let's see. Did we see that in here? Where is it at? Where should it be? Physical? Yeah. It is not there. All right, so let's go back and look. I was trying to look at, like, let's see, body control. We should have body control of 3 already. And body control of 3, right? Carousing of 5. So why did we already have carousing of 5? Carousing of 5, because it's part of this. That would be why. Feat of strength, self-control. So yeah, so we've already got some skills. And then we can increase them. Oops. Sorry. We're not done yet, although we're close. We're real close to being done. All right. We got our skills. So the ones that we already have obviously are important to us. That's why they gave them to us. And so we want to pick some more, you know, to kind of round out our characters. I like this. This is something people that are not familiar with the Dark Eye might not know, because this is an uncommon word, I think, in English. But it's basically like you're sort of juggling, clowning, sleight of hand kind of thing. It's called gakeli. I had to look this one up too. But it's basically, you know, fire eating, fireworks, ventriloquism. So it's all that sort of stage thing. Although, you know, it's got clowning, sleight of hand too. So you don't necessarily have to be just doing, you know, being on a stage to do it. But I like that one. Riding, obviously, in a game where you might have horses, you might have to ride horses. That's probably not a bad idea. So someone says, "Sir, is a specific English bad habit. My child is a little different than German one to adapt the language differences. A German version of ear, nose, picker, doozer, calling someone by the informal you." Yeah. I guess the length, like the depths of what some would consider a bad habit vary for sure. Let's see. So stealth is probably a good. Let's see. Does it? So yeah, it's dropping down our adventure points there. Now it lets us show it. So we spent 0 on race. It shows us on our combat techniques, our special abilities, and on add or bought back life points, or things like that. So we can do that later. Performance is probably a good translation to gakeli. A little bit, but not really. I feel like performance. I would say performance in like other games would be is just like, you know, more dramatic, you know, like telling a joke or anything like that, which are more oral, and yeah, they can be some, you know, body control sort of thing included in that. But I kind of feel like I like gakeli because it kind of implies a little bit more of like, you know, it says right there, you know, fire eaters and ventriloquism, sort of that a little bit of like the side stage aspect to it. It was translated directly to performer. Yeah, so I mean that makes sense. But I like how they included it and didn't just make it performer, because I feel like if you'd have just called it performer, then people would have just been like, okay, it's just performer, you know, performing things. But this kind of makes you look at it and be like, what is it exactly? Oh, it's a little bit more, you know, tricks and things like that. Yeah, circus acts, exactly. I like that. It gives you a little bit more than just calling it performer. Sometimes when we use mundane words for things, we sort of automatically tie them to something simple. Fast talk, intimidation, streetwise. So what I'm not seeing or understanding at this moment is like, how many skill points do we have? Do we just have as many as we want to spend on our so we can undo things. We just have as many as we want to spend on our skills. Let's go here, look at our where it talks about skill points. Improve abilities. Yeah, so it looks like we just kind of spend as much as we want. If we want to be really good at skills, we spend points there. If we want to be really good at other things, we spend points there, which is nice. So Vendela says one important thing is the ability to reach QL, so which is your quality level. So having a 4, 7, 10 is important to reach better quality level. What do you mean by 4, 7, 10? Yeah, don't forget the combat skills. Yeah, we've just scratched the top of the combat or of the skills. We have combat techniques. Yeah, which is obviously we're a skirmisher, so we're gonna want to spend skill points there. But I'm noticing the time, and it is now noon my time, and so we've been at this an hour. Obviously, I'm just sort of fumbling through here with all of your great advice. And I'm kind of learning this as I walk through it. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. I know it's been helpful to me. Vendalist says QL2 is 4 skill points. Yeah, so the more skill points we have in something, then we have the ability to get better quality levels when we make those, when we make a check on that skill, right? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying now. So quality level 3 is 7 skill points. So you have to have that amount of skill points in order to reach that because of the way skills work. So let's hold off on talking about that, and we're gonna come back on Wednesday. So in 2 days at 11 a.m. Pacific, we'll get into skills. We'll actually talk about skills a little more because it's important. A lot of skill checks get made. There are a lot of skills in this game, which gives a lot of variation to character, which is really fun. So come back Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and we'll talk more about the Dark Eye character generation. Thank you everyone in the chat for talking with me and walking me through all these things and teaching me. I really appreciate it. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Let's see what else is going on with the Dark Eye on streams. I think I'm the only one doing Dark Eye streams right now. If other Dark Eye streams come up, we'll let you know. Go back, check out the Fantasy Grounds walkthrough I did. Go check the solo play adventures that I did. Go to Drive Through RPG. You can get the Dark Eye. You can get the Dark Eye core book for pay what you want right now, and those 2 solo adventures. So if you're stuck at home, there's lots of things you can be doing with the Dark Eye. So thank you everybody for coming and helping me out, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.